Okay, hi and welcome back to GEF Live. We are here at the 56th GEF Council in Washington, D.C. This is the World Bank building. My name is Christian Hofer. I'm doing communications for the GEF. With me is Rosina Bierbaum. Welcome.
Thank you.
Rosina is the chair of our advisory panel, which is the STAP, Scientific and Technical Advisory Panel. And I would like to ask you, Rosina, first, what's the role of STAP?
Well, the role of STAP is twofold. One, to bring science from the outside world into the GEF, and also equally important to take the needs of the practitioner agencies, especially GEF family, back out to the science community so that the GEF projects have the best science built into them, but we also have scientists helping answer questions that we need for the design of future projects and programs.
So, if I may, just a follow-up question on that. Now we're going into GEF 7, right? And so, what was your role in the preparation, basically, of this huge work program?
Well, in preparation for GEF 7, the STAP, and we're 7 scientists, put together 8 different reports for the GEF to help them think about how they could move towards more innovation, more transformation, more integrated approaches, more impacts that are durable and truly deliver global environmental benefits. So we were very, very active in consulting with the scientific community and producing these documents, and then, very importantly, taking what the science world said and trying to make it GEFable, so making recommendations on how the GEF can think about climate risk, for example, which is becoming a bigger and bigger threat to the durability of many of the projects. So we have 8 papers up on the website that folks are welcome to look at, ranging from climate risk to integration to innovation to environmental security, etc.
Wonderful, thank you. So you mentioned durability, right? So can you say a few more words actually about sustainability, durability?
Yes, so the GEF Secretariat asked us to do a paper based on the scientific literature on what good guidance is there out there that would make projects more sustainable, and by that more enduring. And of course the Independent Evaluation Office said it's difficult to prove that GEF projects in more than 60% of the cases continue to have enduring impact 5 years out. Well, of course we want to have very, very long-term impact, and so the GEF Sec said, please help us think about that. And so we did. And as you look at the literature, you can see that particularly emerging risks like climate change are making long-term impact more difficult. So what we did is we produced a report that I presented at this council meeting, reiterating many of the kind of best practices that we STAP have brought before to the GEF, which is make sure you have a sound theory of change, make sure you involve all the right stakeholders in both identifying the problems and the solutions, make sure you're kind of using what we now call a systems approach, and then very importantly, that you're monitoring, you're evaluating, and you're learning, so you learn from mistakes and from that which works, so we can share the knowledge more widely. But to that list, which I think you will find in many of the STAP stronghold documents of yore, we added a few additional things that said right from the beginning in GEF 7, you're going to have to think about barriers to getting done what it is you want to do and see if you can overcome them. That you're also going to have to think about a broader set of stakeholders if you're doing these enormous regional projects, and that you're going to have an iterative process for developing a theory of change so that you can fine-tune and make adaptive management over time. So we built on some principles that we had before, but we also said, think about the innovations, think about the barriers, think about the trade-offs, and have ways to address those. And of course, increasingly important, climate change fits into all of that.
I'm very happy to hear that with our systems approach, we seem to be, scientifically speaking, on the right track, right?
Yes. I think the old way of thinking was if you just tackle the problem where you see it, which in many cases might be at the end of a pipe of pollution, you'll handle it. But now we're thinking increasingly you've got to go literally upstream in some cases, think about what's creating the problem, and think about ways that you can get sort of more hit for every dollar, that you can tackle more than one environmental problem simultaneously. And it's clear that GEF has been moving in this direction. I mean, as staff, we review all the major projects, and we're seeing more and more of them coming through saying, we want to do something good for biodiversity and for climate change and to reduce chemicals and waste. So they're moving to be multifocal, if you will, across multiple areas, across multiple treaties. And you can't think about getting something good in more than one arena unless you think about the entire system. And the other way that I would say the systems approach is taking over in a good sense is that we're thinking more about things like the circular economy. So again, you don't make something, you don't use it, and then you waste it. But we're thinking about new feedstocks that could maybe serve to replace plastics, for example, so that we don't, again, have to just clean up on the back end, but we can actually start with something that's more sustainable and recyclable. So systems thinking, because the problems are big and intractable and interconnected, and also that the solution space can be quite creative and innovative when you stand back and look at the bigger picture.
Rosina, thank you so much for that, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.